Hello student, today I am going to discuss about Beckmann rearrangement. Beckmann rearrangement is acid catalyzed conversion of oxime to N-substituted amide. We all know that this oxime can be obtained from carbonyl compound by treatment with hydroxylamine. This rearrangement is more applicable to ketoxime, which will give secondary amide. As I told you earlier that this is an acid catalyzed reaction and the most commonly used reagents are sulfuric acid, formic acid, polyphosphoric acid, phosphorus pentachloride, liquid sulfur dioxide, thionyl chloride, tosyl chloride, boron trifluoride, trimethyl silyl iodide, silica gel, etc. The reaction is very much stereospecific with respect to the configuration of oxime. For an unsymmetrical ketone, always anti-group with respect to the OH of the oxime moiety will migrate. That means this migration is not related to the migratory aptitude of the group. For example, if we take acetophenone, it will give two diastereomeric oximes. One is E oxime and another is Z oxime. In case of E oxime, see, phenyl is in the anti with respect to this OH group. So, when Beckmann rearrangement is carried out on E oxime, phenyl will migrate and we will get this product. This is N-phenyl acetamide. Similarly, for Z oxime, methyl and OH are anti, so methyl will migrate and the product is N-methyl benzamide. And this migration is intramolecular in nature. That means when a mixture of two different oximes are subjected to Beckmann rearrangement, then no crossover product will be obtained. Say for example, if we take acetone oxime and benzophenone oxime, and after Beckmann rearrangement, it will give these two products. These two crossover products never formed. Again, the rearrangement involves migration of chiral group. Then we will get 100% retention of configuration. That means during the reaction, no discrete carbocation is formed. Otherwise, we will get the racemized product. So let us see the mechanism so that we can easily understand and correlate all these experimental facts. Let us take this compound. This is Z-oxime of acetophenone. When it is treated with acid, then this OH group is converted to water. That means a beta leaving group. And methyl is anti with respect to this OH group. So it will migrate. And this migration and the expulsion of the leaving group occur simultaneously. That is without formation of any discrete carbocation. In other words, we can say that this is a 1-2 shift of this carbon to electron deficient nitrogen atom, just similar as Hofmann, Lawson, Cartier and Schmidt rearrangement. After removal of this water, this carbocation nitrilium ion will form. This is resonance stabilized. Then water molecule attach this carbon and we will get this imidol. After amido-imidol tautomerization, we will get our final product, which is N-methyl benzamide. One thing which we should remember, that this amide oxygen is coming from the solvent water. This is not this oxime oxygen which is departed as water. So if we take water with labeled oxygen, then it will incorporate into the product. As I told you earlier, that this rearrangement is also induced by reagents other than protic acid. For example, this Lewis acid, boron trifluoride, will remove this OH in this way. If we use tosyl chloride, then OH is converted to OTS, that means a beta leaving group. And for thionyl chloride, OH will eliminate as this chlorosulfite ester. Same as for PCl5. Now we will discuss some of the applications of Beckmann rearrangement. We already know that this is a conversion of ketone to N-substituted amide via intermediate oxime formation. And if this N-substituted amide is subjected to hydrolysis, it will form this primary amine and carboxylic acid. For example, if we take benzophenone oxime, it will give benzanilide when Beckmann rearrangement is carried out, and which on hydrolysis this amide bond will cleave and we will get this benzoic acid and aniline. So by identifying this primary amine and carboxylic acid, one can determine the configuration of the original oxime. Let us understand by taking an example. This problem. This is a ketone A. When treated with hydroxylamine, it will give two oximes, B and C. B on Beckmann rearrangement will give D, which on hydrolysis gives para-nitrobenzoic acid and para-toluidine. And we have to identify all these compounds. That means we have to identify A, B, C and D. Now hydrolysis of D gives para-nitrobenzoic acid and para-toluidine. So D should be a secondary amide. Water is removed in this way, and by joining these two parts we will get the structure of D. That means this is D, the secondary amide. Again, the group, that means this group which is attached to the NH functionality, this group we keep in the anti-position with respect to the oxime OH. Then we will get the structure of this oxime. So this is the oxime, that means the structure of B. This is Z oxime. So the structure of C is the other diastereomer of B, that means it is the E oxime, and finally the structure of A should be this. For cyclic ketones, this reaction is used to synthesize omega amino acids, which is polymerized to give commercially important polymeric substances. For example, if we use cyclohexanone, when it is treated with hydroxylamine, it gives this oxime. Then Beekman rearrangement is carried out with sulfuric acid. So here this bond will migrate after ring expansion, this nitroleum ion, and after hydrolysis and tautomerization we will get this cyclic amide. This is caprolactam, which on hydrolysis will give this omega amino acid. This is 5-aminohexanoic acid, which when heated it will give the nylon 6. Now, like other name reactions and rearrangement in organic chemistry, we will do some conversion by using this Beekman rearrangement. So if we try to convert phenol to para-hydroxyacetanilide, what will be the route? So our target molecule is para-hydroxyacetanilide, which is a secondary amide. That means it is a Beekman product. So if we remove this NH function from this amide, we will get the ketone. That is, this is the ketone. Again, look at the group which is attached to this NH function. That means this group. Now we will place this group anti to OH of the oxime. And this is the E-oxime of para-hydroxyacetophenone. And we all know that para-hydroxyacetophenone can be easily obtained from phenol by using Fries rearrangement. So the route should be, first we have phenol is first converted to phenyl acetate by treating with acetic anhydride. Then phenyl acetate is formed. Then it is subjected to Fries rearrangement by heating with anhydrous aluminium chloride. Then para-hydroxyacetophenone will be our product. This is then treated with hydroxylamine. Both E and Z isomers of oximes will be formed. Then after separation, we will take this E-oxime and this is subjected to Beekman rearrangement and we will get our final product, which is para-hydroxyacetanilide. Now, there are several other applications and many more extensions of Beekman rearrangement. So, we will discuss it in our next class. Thank you.